Hi guys, my name is Sansi, and this will be number 3 in the ghost series, My Ghost Adventures. Um, this one is going to be a little bit heavier, and it's going to take me a little bit of time to explain it. But when we moved to Vegas over 20 years ago, I moved into this house that was haunted by two ghosts. One was a little boy, and he was just kind of a trickster, but uh, like he was only probably about five or six. So he was still like in his kid mind, and acting like a kid around the house. Um, I never saw him physically, um, but he would hide things from me all the time, and then I would find them later, so it was kind of funny. But my neighbor who'd come over, I used to do upholstery at home, and my neighbor came over one night while I was working on the front porch, and he saw the little boy. So that was cool that he saw him, but by the time I turned around, the little boy had vanished. And then the other one I want to tell you about is this is a really heavy. Um, okay, so after a couple of months of, well, probably less than that, just a few weeks of moving in there, I was in the kitchen. I was home alone. And I walked back in the bedroom to get my cigarettes. I smoked cigarettes back then. I vape now, but I smoked cigarettes back then. And I mean, not just that quick. Walked to the bedroom, grabbed my cigarettes, walked right straight back into the kitchen, and every cabinet door was open, and my kitchen was really big. I had several cabinets, in the top, in the bottom. I had an island. All the drawers, all the cabinets were wide open. So that really freaked me out. And then after that, um, I would feel this guy. I want to say he was probably mid 30s, and it was a bad feeling. So I got a download, which I guess is claircognizance. So I get these every once in a while. But I got the download of the story that his girlfriend, who owned my house prior to me buying it and moving in, her and him actually killed her mother and took her, I guess, put her in a car, took her to the grocery store, and left her there. So when the cops found her, it looked like she committed suicide or something. But this is not the case. And he was telling me this because he wanted me to help him get his ex-girlfriend in jail because she did exactly the same thing to him. So I don't know. I think it was for like insurance money. But anyway, I felt like he was just as bad, just as guilty as she was, and I didn't want to help. He wanted me to go to the police and tell them this story. And the police would have thought I was crazy, right? So I never went. But then I got this attachment, and he was with me for 5 years until I could finally get rid of him. But anyway, so I just kept saying, no, I'm not going to do it. And I would talk to him just like I'm talking to you. You're just as bad as she is. So, no, I'm not going to help you. And he told me that the gun that they killed the mother with was under the house. I did not want to crawl under there because there were spiders, and well, I didn't even really want to find this gun, but I knew it was down there. It was right below my bathroom. So I know exactly where it was. And oh, and also he told me about the little boy. They killed the little boy and they took him up in the mountains, and they after he was dead, and they threw him over a cliff to where this cliff, I could see it all in my mind's eye. The cliff was, it went down and then it went in like this and down like a mountain is on a mountain, not just a hill. It was a big mountain. So there would be no way for you to find the little boy's body. No way for you to even propel down there, I don't think, to even look. It was a real rocky place. And I know that if I drove up there, I could have found it. But I never drove up there because I could see the whole thing in my mind. So that's where the little boy is. Um, his body, the guy, I'm not sure where his body is, but so he kept telling me to get a black light. So I did. I went and got a black light, and when I turned off the lights and shined the black light, I could see a puddle of blood that had been, I mean, they cleaned the carpets, they cleaned the walls, but it still showed up. So there was like a big blood spot, like right when I would get out of bed and put my feet down. That's where the blood was. When I shined it up on my closet, there was blood splatters everywhere, like everywhere. And I went down the hallway, and it looked like something bloody had been dragged, like a body. So I'm sure it was the body dragged down to the back door where they could load the mother into the car. I don't like talking. I don't like thinking about it, and I really don't like talking about it. But I think it's interesting to say, because not all ghosts are good. Some are bad, and you can get these attachments and whatever. So with the guy, his girlfriend did the same thing to him, killed him. I am not sure where his body is, but I just know he kept wanting me to go to the police, and I just kept saying no. So probably a couple of years in after living there, I worked nights, so it was the middle of the day. I was trying to take a nap. So I laid down in the bed. I was on my back, and I had a desk in my room. I looked over to the desk, and I could see him standing there, and he was just like leaning against my desk with his hand on his hip and his one leg crossed over, and he was just staring me down. And I said, I need to sleep. You need to go away. I need to sleep. And the next thing I knew, I mean, it was that fast, he crawled in bed with me and tried to jump my body. So he jumped my body, and every cell in my body hurt. I mean, I hurt from head to toe and through and through. It was like an electric shock. And I was trying to get out of bed. But it was holding me. The force was holding me. But I kept trying. My mental is strong. So I kept trying to get out. And finally it released me, and I almost fell on the floor. And then I just ran down the hallway, and this guy ran after me, and he hit me in the middle of my back. I have a bulging disc there now. So, and it hurt really bad. And then after that, I was just trying to do sage and yelling and screaming at him to get out, that he wasn't welcome and things like that. And that did kind of back him up. But I moved out of there just as soon as I could. I just wanted to get away from him. I wanted to get away from what I knew had happened there. It was just horrible. And it explains why I got my house so cheap. I was wondering why it was so cheap. But anyway, now I know. So when I moved across town, he moved with me. I moved, and I kept moving like every year trying to get away from him. I think I lived in one, two, three, four, five, six places. 6 places in 20 years in Vegas. And finally, on the last place that I lived, I opened the Bible to Psalms. I left that open. I went to a psychic, so he helped me, and a Reiki practitioner. He helped me clear him out. I got selenite and all these crystals and put them everywhere. And every day I told him he was not welcome, that I am on this planet, it is my life, and he's not welcome in it. And you have to say this with great assertiveness. You got to show them who's boss, attitude, if you're trying to get rid of an attachment. But finally, I got rid of him. But I also feel like I might have trapped him in my attic, because he kept making a noise, a rolling, it sounded like a bowling ball rolling across the floor. And I want to say it was like 6:27, or no, it was 6:47. Every night at the same time, I'd hear this ball rolling. And my daughter could hear it too. And I finally one night, and I did a bunch of recordings of this, and then I erased most of them by accident. But anyway, I still have a couple of the audio. And so one night I just had the feeling that we weren't going to hear the ball rolling. And my daughter was in the room with me. And I'm like, I have a feeling we're not going to hear the ball tonight. And we lived there a couple of years. So we didn't hear the ball rolling. We sat there and we were watching the clock across the room. And but all of a sudden, I heard a bam on the door, like loud, like somebody just took a ball bat and hit the door. I mean, it was loud. So that scared me. We both jumped up, and my bedroom door was closed. I went to the bathroom, went on the other side. There was nobody. I didn't see him or anybody. But then right after that, I did the sage and the salopandel all through the house. But I forgot to leave a door open or a window cracked. And I started downstairs. It was a 2-story house. I started downstairs and worked my way up. I didn't mean to do this. But he got trapped in the attic. But at least I'm rid of him, I feel sorry for the next people that moved in, because I'm sure he's raising havoc with them. And I know this story sounds completely crazy, but I guarantee you it's true, and it was no joke. It was not fun. And this will be the worst story in the series. I realize how heavy it is. So I'm going to have to burn some sage or some, maybe some dragon's blood as soon as I quit the video. Because it just brings back all those feelings right straight back to me. But anyway, if you have any attachments, I would like to hear about it. Or if you've had any in the past and how you got rid of them. I'd like to know any kind of ghost stories that you would like to share. I would love to hear them. And I just apologize for this being so heavy, but it's true, true story. Um, so I mean, you know, if it can't happen to me, it could happen to anybody, I guess. Although I do feel like I'm very sensitive to the ghosts and just to energies in general. But anyway, guys, leave me a comment. I would just love to hear, and I would just love to hear what you have to say about this too. All right. Okay, guys. See you on the next one. All right. Bye bye.